Oh, I didn't say anything. Alright, well, hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today I'm bringing you guys a game that I had in the Tirpitz, the Tier 8 Premium German battleship. Normally I start my commentary after the announcer says battle starts or action stations or whatever, but for some reason this time he didn't say anything. That's interesting. So, this game right here is the third game I had in Tirpitz on this day. And I was originally recording for a different topic, but this match was so, well, you'll see, it deserves its own video. Now, as far as my build for Tirpitz, same as every Tier 7 plus German battleship full secondary build. BFT, AFT, manual fire for secondaries, preventive maintenance, MLG turrets, adrenaline Russian superintendent are my captain skills. My module build, it's damage con 1, secondary mod 1, damage con 2, concealment, and then main. No, you can't get that on the tier 8 ships. I don't think so. But whatever it is, it's all into secondaries in my module build, and the other ones are damage cons and then the concealment extra. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. For some reason, my screenshots don't want to work. Otherwise, I would just show you the modules. But yeah, I don't know. I'm having a weird time with that. I've updated my drivers and all that, but for some reason they don't want to work. I don't know. It's been a very iffy period with screenshots for me for some reason. But anyway, this match. So this is a tier 10 game, and I'm in the Tirpitz. I'm surrounded by another tier 8 ship, Amagi there, and I believe our destroyer is a tier 9. We got the Friesland and the Z46, and we also have an Edinburgh over here at the C cap. So my matches before this have been your typical tier 10 quarantine match where everyone sits back and one side just gets absolutely walked over and rinse, wash, and repeat. But this time, as you guys saw in chat, I just typed, what if we just bonsai into C just to get it over with, you know? If it, you know, we'll die gloriously and we can get back to port faster and the match will be over with quicker because, I mean, honestly, the teams recently have just been atrocious. And, you know, I'm not trying to rag on the teams or anything. It's just how it is because we have a lot more people on than normal and, well, it's been an interesting time. I'm sure you all know what I mean. So anyway, and this Amagi and Edinburgh and Friesland kind of listened to me and like, all right, screw it, let's go for it. And you'll see what happens. It's pretty impressive. So we are just going into sea. Amagi's going first. I'm surprised he didn't let me go first since I am in the Turkish. You got an Alaska peeking behind a 9 light there, like all American cruisers do. Apparently he didn't get the memo that it's a super cruiser, and that's not exactly how Alaska's supposed to be played, but hey, he's doing a good job of being a little pest there. So we have a smoke screen up, which means there is a DD in this cap, but he didn't get to it before our Friesland did, and our Friesland managed to cap before him. So me and Amagi are going around the left side of the cap, and as you can see, the way the smoke screen was distributed, the destroyer is obviously on the left side of it right there. And you can see his tracers now. So the Amagi knows he's there. I know he knows he's there. Amagi launches his spotter plane, but not soon enough before we get some lovely deep water torpedoes. So now we know it's a Pan-Asian destroyer, and it's the Chungmu, the tier 9 Pan-Asian destroyer. You can see there's his muzzle flashes. I let a couple of shells rip, don't hit anything, but I know he's in there. I know he's very distracted by the juicy Amagi that he just torpedoed and that he's gunboating. Now he also knows I'm there because I just fired. So I pinged the Wooster, who's our tier 10 over here and who was hanging back, and I said, can you radar? He has 10-kilometer radar. If he scoots up a little bit, I'm sure the Chungmu will be within his range. He doesn't do that. So, like, okay, I know the Chungmu's right there about, so I'm going to open up the torpedo spread, and that'll cover that area. But then, I'm close enough to where now that he fires, he's detected 2.6 kilometers away. So I blasted with my main guns, Amagi blasts in with his main guns, and my secondaries and Amagi's secondaries tear into it as well. And goodbye, Mr. Chungmu. Amagi gets his revenge on him for taking away most of his health. Amagi's got a good amount of secondaries. They aren't the best, but boy, when you get within range of him, she's got a lot of them. And I think Yeah, the fourth torpedo did actually hit his corpse, so he would have eaten the torpedo maybe if he didn't move. So I found myself broadside into the Alaska. That hurt. But the Amagi is also going around the corner of the island, also putting pressure on the Alaska as well. But unfortunately, the Amagi is on fire and burning to death. So Amagi is now down. So I'm stopping here in front of the Alaska because I know if I go forward, I'm going to be giving broadside to basically the entire enemy team. So I stopped here. I'm letting my secondaries chew into the Alaska. And, you know, it's not the best situation to be in, but hey, when I've got secondaries that can slowly chew through the Alaska, I'll make do with it. And Alaska starts to move and gives me a little bit of broadside. I get some good hits in there. He's trying to get around the corner of the island because he's not the Puerto Rico. He can't tank a whole lot of damage. I mean, I do think the Alaska is better than the Puerto Rico, but the Puerto Rico is the better tanker. I mean, there's no argument there. And he just put out a fire that I had on him. I'm pinging my team to get fire on the Alaska because he's down to 2,000 health and he does have a heal. And if he can start getting some fire on him, he'll be down before he can pop his heal off. And I'm not sure if they just ignore me or they can't get shots on him, but no one shoots at the Alaska. Then I'll go to turn around and oh, hello Vlad and Fletcher. Obviously you want to get the Fletcher down, tier 9 American DD, don't want that running around. But this shot, the Vladivostok, was so good, I just had to take, because again, the Vladivostok is a very powerful tier 8. Get almost 10,000 damage off of it. If my shells would have connected, only 4 shells hit, so if more would have connected, that probably would have been a 20k salvo. But my secondaries do start tearing into the Fletcher, and so is the Friesland. So that torp, it seems like he's maybe coming around that corner. I just dropped some torps there just in case. Again with the torps on, and Alaska 7 kilometers away. Get my secondaries back on him, and Friesland's also on, so Friesland, actually the Z-46 takes him out, so that's good. Ships with torpedoes, like battleships and cruisers that aren't normally torpedo boats, you never want to try to use them. You just want to use them when the opportunity arises, like I did with the Changmu, like I kind of did there with that Terps. I just threw some out there, you know, maybe they hit, maybe they won't, I don't care. Same with the Changmu, just throw some torpedoes out and he can either move out of the smoke screen, or maybe if he doesn't move, he'll eat one. But you never want to, like, go after them. Like, a lot of Terps players, when I was turning that corner, I saw the Fletcher and the Vladivostok, a lot of Terps players would have tried to turn and just go bow onto them and then try to use the torpedoes. You don't want to do that. That's how you die early on. And ships with torpedoes like the Tirpitz and Gneisenau and Scharnhorst, and even cruises as well that don't normally have torpedoes. Torpedoes like that are mostly meant to be used in self-defense, or if you get surprised, unless you got something like a Zhao or a Yoshino with like 20-kilometer torpedoes, and then they're more apt to be used aggressively. Okay, so this match right now, you probably think Mountbatten, you said this was an interesting game. Your team's only down 2 ships. You're up 150 points. The enemy team is down 4 ships. Well, yes, the 4 ships that are down have mostly been sunk around my group that pushed in hard to sea. So, the rest of my team, if you'll notice, hasn't capped anything and hasn't moved up much past the D line. The ships that you're actually seeing going into B now, a good chunk of them, like the Edinburgh and the Worcester, they're from my group at C that pushed in. And there are some that are, you know, finally pushing into B, but they're taking their dear sweet time. So you might get an idea of where this is going. So Cleveland out there at 18 kilometers, take some shots with him. Tirpitz, you know, it's not the best sniper, but I mean, in a tier 10 game like this, you don't have much choice. You gotta do what you gotta do. We just lost our Alaska to the enemy Minotaur. Our Conqueror's way up north of A, I'm assuming being a Conqueror and trying to burn everything around him. And again, all I really have to shoot at now is the Cleveland and the Fletcher, and you know, yes, you should target the DD, but I mean, when you're in a battleship like the Tirpitz and DD's 15 kilometers, you're not gonna hit it. So Cleveland slowing down, shells look good, and I get 1 Citadel on the Cleveland. So he's hurting now. Oh, Vladivostok way out there, 19 kilometers, no way in the world I could hit that. Even though it's a battleship and it's 19 kilometers away and it's showing broadside with like the Bismarck and the Tirpitz. You may get 1 shell hit on that. It's better to go for the radar cruiser at that point than the battleship at 20 kilometers. And this time, I don't hit the Cleveland at all. So now I'm moving on to the B cap, because at this point we have most of their team on the run. Our team took the initiative, which is good. They went into B. We now have that, and we don't really need A at this point. If we can keep the enemy team consolidated to A and south of the B and C caps, we'll win. So this Georgia right here, I think he got a moment of bravery, but then he decided he didn't like it. He starts to run away, so you got Smolensk, Seattle, Edinburgh, me, and our Worcester all focusing firing. And right here he stopped for a second. I'm not sure if we lose connection. We just lost our Conqueror to the Des Moines. Conqueror burnt down, the irony. And the enemy team is starting to gain back those points that we had a lead on. But still, we do have the cap advantage. And this Georgia, he's just really sitting here taking it. I'm not sure if he disconnected or thought he was a French cruiser and tried to throttle juke. But Georgia's a very fast boat. Most Georgia players would have popped their hyperdrive and got out of there by now. But I'm like, okay, if you want to sit there, I'm going to take this opportunity to shoot you. And here he does kind of finally pick up speed. I'm not sure if his internet glitched or whatever. But that's one less ship we have to deal with on the enemy team. This Iowa's getting batted on by the Minotaur pretty hard. And the Yami, who's just chilling there. I was trying to watch who this Yami was aiming at. It's not me. He's going after the low health Iowa. Minotaur 12 kilometers away, going fairly slow. Minotaur's not a very tough ship. And I get an overpin on him. Good old German accuracy. I target him with my secondaries, so my secondaries can shoot through his non-existent armor. Iowa gives him 2 guns. Looks like he gets the Citadel there and misses with the second one. We just lost our Iowa and our Friesland. So now we are tied with the enemy team in terms of ships. Hi, Des Moines. Lovely weather we're having, huh? Sink the Minotaur with the Citadel. Got Confederate there. Give the Des Moines the rear 2 turrets, and I turn. And unfortunately, I do have to give the Yambi broadside here because I didn't want to keep sailing forward to where the Des Moines and then get pulled into what's left of their team. So I dropped some torpedoes there at the Des Moines. If he continues turning this way, then he'll eat them. But if he turns like that and gives me broadside, I can... Oh, look at that dispersion. That was terrible, but I did get a Citadel out of it. And I get 2 more Citadels out of my rear turrets. I managed to drain him of most of his health. So now I'm burning, but thankfully there's only 1 fire. And I am at very low health. So that Cleveland Valley Vostok are still alive. I kind of give myself a breather here, slow down. And I was thinking, is that the Moine going to keep going around the corner of this island, or is he going to go and turn and link up with the Yami? So I popped my fighter plane because they'll circle about 2 kilometers away from the ship, and if they get shot at, then they will obviously spot that ship. But then Des Moines opens up on the Worcester, so he was spotted there for a second. Broadside Vladivostok, I gave the full attention on my guns to hopefully get him down faster. And we do burn down the Cleveland, burn down the Vladivostok, and now we are 5 ships to the enemy's 3 ships. It's looking pretty good so far. So the enemy team has a almost full health Yami left. Probably half health Des Moines, probably popped a repair by now. And a very low health Fletcher left alive. Edinburgh pops his radar, so he's a radar Edinburgh. Interesting. So, Des Moines, yeah, he's healed a little bit of his health back now. He's down to about 12,000 health. And he's selling kind of broadside. He's a little bit kill hungry on the Worcester. So he pops some AP off at the Worcester. I'm looking at him. He's almost broadside. But then he turned there at the last second. You saw I kind of try to jerk my guns because I didn't realize he was turning. And I just get a bounce off of his stern. And he is hard on the Worcester. And then there's the Yami. He gets the Worcester. Now this Edinburgh. At this point, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go up behind the islands and try to close the gap on the Yami and get into a close range battle with him. But the Edinburgh just goes for it. So I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want to support him, but he's kind of suiciding because it's a Des Moines and a Yami, and Edinburgh doesn't have a lot of armor, and whoo, there goes half of the Edinburgh's health right there. So at the last moment I decided, no, I'm not going to go because this would be kind of suicide for me. And I'm just trying to hit this Des Moines here, just something to get him down because he's at such low health. If my shells would cooperate, I could blap him, but they missed there. And the Edinburgh's on his own, and I didn't notice earlier that he had a radar, so I tell him, smoke up and run. The Des Moines uses radar not that long ago. He probably at least have a couple seconds of him being able to turn around and run away from the Des Moines and the Yami. But he doesn't have radar, as we know. He doesn't have smoke, as we know. He has radar. So like, oh crap. So, plan now is to go around this island, approach the Yami head-on, close the distance, and get into a brawl with him while he's distracted by the Edinburgh. Well, anyone take a guess what's about to happen to the Edinburgh? Yeah, he's dead. Okay, so now, broadside onto the Yami, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go for it at this point. And it seems like the rest of my team understands that we just need to hide. So I'm in a Turpitz. Yami's right there. If I turn around, I might live like another 20 seconds, if that. I'll push broadside the one right there. So like, okay, I'm just going to go on the Yami. Worst case scenario, I chew out a lot of his health, and he sinks me. Best case scenario, I sink him, I may die. You know, that'll give us just a Des Moines and a low health Fletcher to worry about. So I'm going in. Doesn't really matter too much how you angle against a Yami, and yeah, he's still gonna chunk you pretty hard. So okay, Des Moines bow on, Yami's broadside on, and oh my god, just the German dispersion, man. An overpin, that's all I get out of that. That should have been like 2 or 3 citadels right there. But sadly it was not. And it feels like, I don't know, German dispersion, even after the buff, it still feels really bad sometimes, like this situation. Thankfully, yeah, he gets some pretty bad dispersion there, but he still hurts me pretty good. And terrible dispersion there, but I do get a citadel, 14,000 damage. Again, I'm not trying to torpedo, I'm just trying to get close enough to him to where I could torpedo without having to show most of my ship to him. So Des Moines now is 6 kilometers away. The torpedo range on the Turpitz is 6 kilometers, so he's within my torpedo range now. And here, I'm at very low health. I'm like, okay, I might as well just dump something in the water, so maybe they'll hit him. So there I go, dump some random torpedoes, and I go down. So now at this point, we have 900 points. All the cruisers have to do is stop shooting and run. That's all they have to do. Stop shooting, go undetected, and run. We have 2 caps. We are 80 points away from winning. And I type in chat, okay, everyone, hide. And then this other guy in chat says, kill Des Moines first. You don't have to kill the Des Moines. You just have to run and hide. And this Seattle, all he has to do is stop shooting, go in reverse, and hide. But he's still shooting. And then Smolensk starts shooting. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is hide. We're 50 points away from winning. We're like maybe 20 seconds away from winning. And Seattle's down. Now, sure, Des Moines was right there. Maybe if he would stop shooting and just focused on angling right and reversing behind the island, he may have survived that. And now the Smolensk is continuing to shoot. Smolensk recently received an armor nerf to where it's not difficult anymore to pin it at medium range. Before it was a lot of overpins, but now you can just go straight through the bow and straight through the center now and get the citadel more, I find. From close range, it still is an overpin machine. And now C's being capped by the Fletcher, so I'm just telling the Smolensk, just stop shooting, go to C, kill the Fletcher, cap C, and we win. There's the Fletcher. It's dead now. So he caps C, and we win. As long as he stays undetected. And he's far enough away from the Des Moines and Yami to where he's in. Ooh, that was a very close shot there by the Yami. Ooh, and he did get hit. So all he has to do now is just cap C, and we win. 973 points to 870. Even with 1 cap right now. As long as he just keeps negating... denying the enemy team the C points, we will win. So, this match went from us having a humongous lead over the enemy team to us coming within a hair's length of losing so far. So, 991 points, 94 points. Come on, tick over. 97 points. Yami's taking some really wild shots there. And thank God we won. So, kids, what did we learn there? It is best sometimes to just go dark and run away. I get 190,000 damage done, 2400 base XP. Number 1 in the team in a tier 10 game. Wow. And I get 2400 base XP. The guy below me has like 1500. So, that was a match. A very good match. But almost a match that I most certainly would have raged at if those cruisers had continued to pursue the Des Moines. And yes, I probably should have ran, but in my mind at the time I was thinking, okay, if I turn around, if I start to run, all I'm going to do is just get killed by the Yami much quicker than if I would just rush him, because the further away Tirpitz is, the way less accurate it is. So the choice I made to just go push the Tirpitz, and you know, I thought the cruisers understood that all they had to do was run and hide. I figured while I was engaging the Yami and the Des Moines, they would take that opportunity to run and hide. And yeah, I probably should have communicated that to them in chat, but I assumed that they would understand that, and well, they didn't. But we still won. Happy ending. Now, on my team, had a lot of good players, had some that were a little derpy, but overall was thankfully a refreshing good team overall. But that was a good game. Want to share it with you guys. Really tense ending there. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers. We're getting very close to passing 9,200, at which point we will be only 800 subscribers away from 10,000. And we're going to do something for 10,000. That's a huge milestone, and it's crazy that we're this close to getting there. Thinking back to when I started the channel. Anyway, I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.